Hey guys, welcome to the Telltale Club podcast. Wow, I've had a real crazy couple of weeks actually, so I haven't been podcasting as I used to do. I used to podcast every day and I don't think I've podcasted for about 3 or 4 weeks. So, what's been happening? Absolutely crazy. I've set up a shop, right? I've set up a shop that is linked to my YouTube and I've been experimenting with different types of items that I want to sell. And as a committed sort of eco-warrior, which I've actually been most of my life, I've been big into recycling and big into, buying pre-loved clothes and just a life with not too bad a footprint, actually. And that has been partly to do with, the ethos that I carry, but also to do with the fact that I've never had any money. And actually, having a recycled life is much, much cheaper. Having said that, if I had tons of money, I just don't think I'd warrant, buying lots of ridiculously expensive single-use items. It really doesn't sit well with me. Anyway, so I set up the shop. And I was playing around with different things. What is it that I'm going to sell? What is it, And I think I've just reached the decision that actually I'm just going to sell things I like. It's quite that have an eco element to them because they're vintage, or pre-loved, or they're made with a nod to fair trade, etc., etc. But also because I love fashion so much. And I've got my show 60 Summers on YouTube. One of my playlists is 60 Summers. And it's all about, what do we wear at 60 and above? What do we do? What do we put on our skin? What, I have a lot of face augmentations, all of that sort of thing. So I'm selling clothes, vintage clothes that I like, but that I don't like enough to keep, perhaps. Although actually, yesterday I was looking through because I've got about 1,500 wonderful, wonderful items. And when you start trying things on and you start, parading in front of the mirror and, look, that's nice, isn't it? And you put it with some jewellery, suddenly you think, I don't want to sell this anymore. And that has happened with every single item that I've done on my YouTube channel. So every day I do a quick YouTube short featuring something that I'm selling in my shop. And not just one thing, usually mix and match type stuff. It's really good fun. It's really light-hearted, but it's very conscientious. It's very eco. So I really like that. It feels really, really good to be doing that. But this morning I was looking around at the artwork and I've decided I'm going to sell art as well because I have so much investment art, because I'm a bit of a dealer on the sly. And I just think, well, I've got this shop, so I may as well put art in it. And then I was thinking about, well, what about, little ceramics and little knickknacks? Small things, I think, is really the way to go. I'm not going to sell big Chesterfields. I mean, I have to limit to what I can sort of carry in post and deliver easily. And I don't particularly want to be lugging stuff in my later years. It just doesn't make sense. Funny enough, my father had a bit of a sort of shop. What was it? It was a kind of house clearance type business in Africa, Johannesburg, and he was moving furniture right up until his death at around 72. But I remember him, he was always stubbing his toe, for example, or twisting something, or all of that stuff. I'm not about to do that. But artworks, actually, I've got a lot of artworks. I've got some beautiful, beautiful Japanese imports. And funnily enough, you know what? I was doing my piano shows. I'm still doing my piano broadcasts, guys. Back on those. I was off while I had COVID. But there's an erotic Japanese block print, which is on my wall. And I had to edit my piano lesson. I need to move it, guys, because it's extremely rude. And I thought, gosh, I can't really have that on my YouTube. So I'm being a bit tame on my YouTube. I've got some characters on there who were less tame. for some of the, my dominatrix character and my, there was an air hostess, and then there was a wife who was, it was all a bit arty. I was doing sort of performance art stuff. But I can't claim to be really doing that at the moment. However, never say never, because I get these ideas, and I think, I need to make a little video. I suppose it's sort of performance art, but it's performance art on film, rather than performance art in galleries, because I don't do galleries anymore. I'm completely out of that loop. And I prefer what I do now. I like the idea of doing it all on film, on my YouTube channel. So my YouTube channel's growing, guys, and I've got more people have signed up, which is lovely. But I do think I need a bit of clarity about, what am I doing? Where am I going? And vlogging is it can be quite general, can't it? If you're a vlogger, if you're doing something like my painting, for example, my en plein air painting show, which I haven't started yet because of COVID, because I had COVID. But I've got a car now. It's wonderful. I've got my new car. I'll show you later. I'll do a little video of it later. Mum and I are going out to a second-hand furnishings place. So I'm going to see if there's anything there for my shop, anything small. Ooh, so exciting. But I thought, what's wrong with just doing a vlog about, being 60, being an artist, being a musician, being somebody who's committed to protecting people and the planet, and somebody who doesn't agree with war, and all of these things. It's really difficult, I think, in society now and social media. They want an extreme thing, they want a thing that you do that is extreme, and they just want you to do that. And I really don't want to fall into that trap, guys. I really, really don't. I'm not a one-dimensional creature. There are many things that I'm interested in, and there are many things I want to talk about, and many things that I want to do, and many things I want to share. So why not do them all rather than being sort of locked in? It's very, very difficult, I think, to create a sort of image just as a woman. I'm just a woman. That's all. I'm a 60-year-old woman. There's nothing complex, but there's nothing funny or extreme. I don't do anything extreme. I don't do anything, hilarious. I don't, I guess some people might think the tattoos are extreme, but actually they're not. Nothing about me is extreme, not a single thing. So why am I looking for these sort of things to stretch the definition of who I see myself as? However, having said that, every now and then I do go a bit crazy, and I think that's just we're all a bit like that, are we not? I think so. I think we're all like that. So so my YouTube channel, which is the Telltale Club, my official music channel for all my my recordings, all my albums, and all my music therapy, is burgeoning, and I want to grow that, and I want to make it exciting and funny, but without this sort of salacious entertainment value of doing extreme things, extreme tattoos, or I don't want any of that. I don't, it's artificial, isn't it? Do you see what I'm saying? And I think I just want friends. I just want friendship. And I tell you what's really interesting, the amount of people who are disliking my videos. Well, look, it's not hundreds and thousands. But previously when I just didn't really do much on my YouTube, I didn't get dislikes ever. Didn't have a single dislike, I don't think, on any of my videos. But now I get dislikes. And I just think, oh, that's really interesting, isn't it? So I actually did Google, why do people dislike, videos? And there are lots of reasons why humans do that. And I'm not sure I've ever done it myself on a YouTube video. But what I might do is disable likes and dislikes, because they're not relevant, because people dislike just because you're the wrong age, or you're the wrong colour, or they don't like tattoos, or they just press a dislike, and you just then you start reading into things, and then you start thinking, well, this, if we if as human beings, if we got up and walked around the world and asked people as they walked past us to press a like or a dislike, what sort of life would we be leading, guys? What do you see what I'm saying? What it would malfunction, wouldn't we? Completely malfunction. So all of these things I've been sort of looking at and observing with extreme interest, actually, with extreme interest. But I don't see anymore that I really, at 60, I need approval from anything or anybody. Obviously, you have to live in society, and I suppose everyone has some sort of standard about how their behaviour, but we're not a walking entertainment, and that idea of celebrity doesn't appeal to me as much as it did many, many years ago when I was younger. I used to dream about being famous when I was young, but it has no interest whatsoever today. Not even financially, actually. Not even financially. The last thing I would absolutely hate to have to mould myself to placate somebody's desire of what they expect of a woman of my age, or just a woman, but particularly of my age. I mean, 60 Summers is about being 60, guys. It's about the next quarter of my life. No, more, is it more than a quarter? 60, what is that? About 20, isn't it? 20, 60, 70, 80. No, I'm living much longer than that. As you know, if you've been listening to the podcasts, I'm living till I'm 120, and I'm very determined. So talking of keeping fit, guys, it's absolutely awful during COVID. I was in bed for over a week. It hurt just to move, just to walk around. So I've done no exercise. So that obviously has to restart again this week, and I will be. But again, very, very gently, because I've absolutely exhausted myself with COVID. The after effects of COVID are still prevalent, and I think this is 3 weeks. This is my 3rd week on now from contracting it, and I have to nap in the day. I'm sleeping almost solidly 8 hours a night, which I've never done. And in that respect, it's quite good. But I do feel quite exhausted. And I'm still getting feelings of being overwhelmed, which is kind of weird. It's almost the anxiety is a symptom of COVID, or a sort of anxiousness that is non-specific. I mean, anxiety tends to be quite specific, I think. But just this sort of almost a feeling of gloom and doom, and I'd say a feeling of doom, which lots of us ladies get at those feelings at menopause. So you may be familiar with those, but just a sense that something you need to sit and take stock because life is just going so far without you connecting. Depression, a early sign of depression, can be a disassociation and disconnection. And I'm very aware of that. So I'm sort of, all of these things are a little bit worrying. And actually, you have to, post-COVID, I advise, you have to sit, lie, close your mind to the world, and just take some time to connect with the ground, touch, feel your feet or feel your body on the bed, or various other methods that people have to connect with their environment. Really important. And your environment might be under a duvet, But I was sort of talking about, in a way, a closeness of texture and touching and grounding, but also a bigger picture. You are part of a universe, a world, and find that connection again. And rest. So I'm going to run out of time. I better get on with life and doing lots of things. I'll be filming later for my show, my YouTube show, Telltale Club channel, with exciting things.